Could a compromise be in the works on Capitol Hill? Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Makia Turner.
And I'm Patricia Vallone. Thank you for joining us. Well, as the default deadline looms, Senate leaders announced that they have a last-minute agreement to reopen the government and lift the debt ceiling. The bipartisan Senate deal would fund the government until January 15th and raise the debt ceiling through February 7th. Congress is expected to move on the bill later today with votes still needed in both chambers. Meanwhile, union representatives and business owners joined Democratic lawmakers in the nation's capital to warn about the environmental and economic toll the shutdown is having nationwide.
On Capitol Hill today, we met a Maryland woman who drove 2 hours from Dorchester County, where she has a small family-owned business. She says 16 days into the federal government shutdown, she's unsure her company will be able to recover. She joined other small business owners, union workers, and government officials today, voicing concerns that even if a deal is reached, the chill in consumer activity could creep well into the holiday retail season.
The small business is like a chain around your neck at this time.
Susan Meredith owns Blackwater Pedal and Paddle Adventures, located a stone's throw from a national wildlife refuge on Maryland's eastern shore. The refuge is closed due to the partial government shutdown. Meredith's business is open, but customers are few and far between. She's had to tell her 8 employees to stay home as she struggles with a significant loss in profits.
On a weekend, on a Saturday, we would make about $1,500 every Saturday since March. And after the shutdown, we made $140.
Meredith says the shutdown has turned Dorchester County into a ghost town, impacting grocery stores, eateries, and gas stations.
A person that comes to spend the day in Dorchester County spends somewhere around $90 per person. So it affects me and it affects all of us in a big way. So you take that influx of people and that money is gone. You can't get it back.
Joining Senators Ben Cardin and Barbara Boxer on Capitol Hill, the group is raising concerns that the threat of economic chaos created by Congress could have lingering effects on consumer activity nationwide. Lawmakers also warn that keeping workers and agencies like the EPA from doing their jobs could have a negative impact on our air, drinking water, and chemical safety.
Because of the shutdown, they don't have appropriations. They can't operate. The environment, EPA, is at 93% of its workforce has been furloughed. We need the inspectors out making sure that our laws are complied with.
Meredith is confident that business will pick back up as soon as the government reopens. Meanwhile, lawmakers say they're eager to return to business as usual, but they acknowledge that even if a deal is reached, it will only be buying them time. They'll be back facing the same situation in a few months. On Capitol Hill, Rochelle Metzger, CTV News.
Meantime, financial markets perked up at the news. The Dow Jones Industrial Average surged more than 200 points after Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid and Minority Leader Mitch McConnell made their announcement this afternoon.
So they're adding up the economic cost of the shutdown. Today, the mayor of D.C., Prince George's County Executive Rashawn Baker and others gathered to talk about the impact of the government closing. Mayor Vincent Gray says there have been 13,000 fewer hotel bookings and about an 8% drop in people eating at restaurants. The crisis is costing Prince George's County $270,000 in income taxes every day that it goes on. Baker says that even when the shutdown is over, the area will continue to feel the economic pinch.
From the standpoint, same thing as County Executive Leggett said, and that is for us is the businesses that didn't hire people or let folks go. Certainly, those contracts that they were bidding on at the federal level, now they go through that process all over again. So we're not going to be able to recover from that.
Hotel bookings, I don't know how we would recoup that. Again, when you talk about 13,000 bookings, that's a lot of bookings, and I see no way to recover that. When you talk about the money that's been lost from restaurants, for example, I don't see any particular way we will recover that either, Bruce. Those are taxes that probably will be lost forever to the city.
The last government shutdown took place in 1996 during President Bill Clinton's administration.
A video has gone viral of Maryland Congressman Chris Van Hollen. He's calling out House Republicans for rigging the rules to ensure a government shutdown. The exchange centers on an obscure rule that prohibits Democrats from bringing a bill to the House floor. Van Hollen says the House GOP changed the rules just before the shutdown.
The Rules Committee, under the rules of the House, changed the standing rules of the House to take away the right of any member to move to vote to open the government, and gave that right exclusively to the Republican leader. Is that right?
House adopted that resolution.
The
chair is now prepared to entertain 1 minute.
I make my motion, Mr. Speaker. I renew my motion that under the regular standing rules of the House, Clause 4, Rule 22, that the House take up the Senate amendments and open the government now.
The video has upward of 2 million views.
Well, there's some good news for Maryland business owners out there. At a press conference this afternoon in Annapolis, Governor Martin O'Malley announced that unemployment insurance taxes will be going down significantly in 2014. The state decided to lower the rate based on the amount of money in its unemployment insurance trust fund. The fund, by the way, grew by 17% this year.
It's only employers who pay unemployment insurance taxes here in Maryland. And certainly during the recession, when so many people were suffering from the recession and losing their jobs through no fault of their own, having this new system in place did cause a short-term burden on every employer, including the Maryland Chamber. But this year in 2013, our rates went significantly down because the economy was doing better.
6 years ago, we were looking at the maximum tax rate in Maryland, and next year we'll be looking at the minimum tax rate in Maryland. This is really an event.
The tax rates are going to drop from Table C behind me to Table A, and that is going to, for the lowest rated taxpayers, that's going to be about a 70% reduction, all the way from $85 down to $25.50.
There's currently $934 million in the fund, which is the 8th largest in the nation.